Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 3 of the Monday Q&A, so let's do it. First question. Do you think it would be possible to utilize periodic mini cuts on a lean bulk to cut down to a lower body fat while still building muscle for multiple weeks? 12 plus as in building muscle for multiple weeks and using the periodic mini cuts to cut down fat every time? Or would it result in spinning one's wheels? I tend to lean in the direction that mini cuts make you spin your wheels. I'm not saying they don't work. What I am saying is that most people are going to, if they're running a proper program, they may be running a program that is periodized and planned out for 6 weeks, but more often 10 or 12 weeks. And if you're running a 12-week periodized program, where are you going to fit a mini cut in? You basically have to reset your periodization as a result of it, which can result in really a failure to properly adapt and run a full program through. I really don't like people bulking less than 12 weeks purely based upon that. And I'm not saying it has to be a dirty bulk. I'm not saying you got to gain 15 pounds or 6 or 7 kilos, but you need to gain a little bit of weight. You need to be in a small caloric surplus usually when you're running a proper program, and then you can cut at the end. And if you're worried about excessive fat gains, just keep the bulk very conservative for a 12-week periodized program. Problem solved. If you don't gain much, you don't have to cut much at the end, then you don't need a mini cut. If you only put on 4 kilos of body weight and only half of it is fat, you can cut that in a month or less very easily. So it's not a problem. You don't need to do mini cuts. You can just bulk more conservatively. All right, next question. Will it kill my strength / hypertrophic gains if I'm in a calorie surplus 5 to 6 days a week and in a deficit 1 to 2 days a week to minimize fat gain on a bulk? Why would you do this? You do realize this is going to interfere with your training. It's going to interfere with your progression throughout the week. You're going to have 1 or 2 days where you've got low glycogen stored, lower energy. It's going to affect your training. If you're scared of excessive fat gain on a bulk, now if you're a novice, this shouldn't even be an issue. You need to go ahead and bulk your ass up. But you're no longer a novice and you're scared of a little bit of fat gain, don't eat everything in sight. Keep the calories conservative enough that you gain less fat. You will get the desired effect you're looking for purely by controlling your diet more. Doing these days of just deficits thrown in is going to absolutely interfere with your gains, and you might end up with less muscle for the same amount of total net weight gain had you just done the surplus spread out through all the days. And if you have less muscle with the same weight gain, you have more fat. It's really silly. No, I don't recommend it. I mean, you can do it if you want. I just don't see the logic in it. I don't think it's the best approach. So much as just controlling your diet more. All right, next question. Standing barbell shoulder press versus standing dumbbell shoulder press for size and strength. My answer here is not going to be universal because I don't want to say that dumbbell shoulder pressing is useless, because it clearly isn't useless. Just from a strength benefit and injury management and injury prevention benefit, I think the barbell is just superior. You're always going to be able to use more weight through a greater range of motion. If you can do that, you're going to gain more strength through the plane of motion that you're trying to gain it through. It's going to be a superior exercise overall. Although the dumbbell does have some benefits, all of those benefits could be gleaned with the behind the neck press without dealing with the extra stability issues. And people will argue with me all day long. I personally feel the behind the neck press is safer than the dumbbell press, particularly standing, because you've got to get them into position. But the main benefit is that, yeah, you can get some extra development of the side head of the delt, and maybe even more of the posterior head with the dumbbells than you can with the barbell to the front. But if that's your main concern, you could just do barbell behind the neck. Or you could come in and do a different exercise besides a press for that. But you're always going to be able to develop more overall strength and overall hypertrophy with the barbell. It may not be the hypertrophy specifically where you want it, but again, you can change the exercise and bar path to adjust for that. without having to deal with the stabilizing issues, and which also happens with the range of motion. That limits your range of motion with dumbbells. It's very hard to get the same range of motion. So that's my real concern there. I just would always recommend the barbell, unless you're just doing it as a lighter finishing movement, in which case the dumbbells are probably fine. And if you don't know what a finisher is, it's basically a lighter exercise that you're doing for very high reps, just for some extra metabolic fatigue and some target muscles, for a little extra development. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 4.